Upon hearing this, Poison Elder was slightly taken aback. The Sun Clan? Even though the 10,000 Poison sect's headquarters wasn't located in the central region of the Mystic Three Heavens under the Xinling royal family, but rather in the Wildlands, he had long heard of the Sun Clan. The Sun Clan was hailed as the royal guard of the Xinling royal family, a force not to be underestimated, especially considering their position as protectors in a place brimming with powerful warriors. After all, if the Sun Clan didn't possess some hidden strength, they wouldn't be able to hold their current status within the Xinling royal family. Though rumors had long circulated that the Sun Clan lacked high-level combat strength, with their strongest only being the clan leader, a perfect 8-Star Dou, there was no telling if they had some hidden power lurking beneath the surface. Mind your own business. Poison Elder snorted coldly, a trace of displeasure evident in his tone. After all, this was the outskirts of Xinling City, and if things dragged on, the Sun Clan reinforcements would undoubtedly arrive. If that happened, not only would he be stuck with Dou Qi, but even the Cauldron Triflower pupil he had fought so hard to obtain would be in serious jeopardy. Escaping would be near impossible. While this may be the outskirts of Xinling City, it's still within the Sun Clan's jurisdiction. You 10,000 Poison sect people should get lost. Sun Dalong descended from the sky, and with a swift movement, a massive black blade plunged into the earth before him. His bulky figure followed, appearing in front of Poison Elder. The black blade was triangular with two sharp edges, an imposing weapon. Strangely enough, when the blade struck the ground, some sort of dark energy seemed to seep into the earth. However, Poison Elder remained unaware. Sun Dalong, an elder of the Sun Clan, was a legendary figure. To have joined the ranks of the elders at such a young age was proof of his exceptional strength and talent. Sun Dalong's muscular frame stood like a mountain, his eyes glaring at Poison Elder. A faint but terrifying aura emanated from him. Sun Clan, huh? Both are mid-8-Star Dou, but Poison Elder still has the plague source insect. It's only a matter of time. Dou Qi, perched atop a towering tree, observed the situation below with a clear view. However, he didn't notice that a man with a massive ruler on his back was slowly approaching. Taking something from me won't be that easy. The barefooted woman smiled faintly, having noticed Sun Dalong's presence from the start, so she remained calm. Are the Sun Clan people really this stupid? This woman is clearly trying to provoke infighting to escape. Don't tell me you're falling for it? Poison Elder spoke in a deep voice. Just from sensing Sun Dalong's aura, Poison Elder knew that their strength was evenly matched. A clash between two mid-8-Star Dou wouldn't easily yield a winner in a short time. Plus, they were too close to Xinling City, and Poison Elder feared the Sun Clan had other tricks up their sleeve. There's no need for you to worry. Sun Dalong casually waved his hand, and instantly, a beam of yellow Dou Qi shot out, trapping the barefooted woman in a cage of energy. Let me go. The woman, caught off guard, was enveloped by the yellow light and hastily trapped. The yellow beam wrapped tightly around her, isolating the space within and preventing any chance of escape. The woman found herself imprisoned but remained unfazed, her gaze locked on the two men before her. It seems she does have something valuable on her. We made the right choice. The others, from Pill Valley, the Two Clan, and the Bloodblade mercenary group, seemed to be pursuing another member of the Poison sect. Sun Dalong, despite his bulky frame, was a sharp thinker who missed no detail. Poison Elder snorted coldly. He couldn't understand why he hadn't sensed Sun Dalong's presence earlier. Something felt off. Don't trouble yourself. I have ways to conceal my aura. For someone of your mid-8-Star Dou level, it's no surprise you didn't notice me. Now that we're alone, hand over the Cauldron Triflower pupil, and I'll spare your life. Ha ha ha. Sun Dalong laughed heartily. Dream on. You're biting off more than you can chew. Poison Elder cursed, astonished at how audacious the Sun Clan had become. This is your last chance. If you refuse to leave, then stay here forever. Sun Dalong roared, lifting his black blade, which turned blood red in an instant. Blood Blade Wielder. Poison Elder muttered under his breath, recognizing the legendary figure known for his terrifying power in Xinling City. The blood blade wielder was notorious for channeling his own blood into his Dou Qi and attacks, unleashing tremendous strength. Though Sun Dalong was only a mid-8-star Dou, activating the blood blade's power would allow him to challenge even a perfect 8-star Dou. "Take this," Sun Dalong shouted, swinging his blood-red blade with both hands, sending a devastating slash toward Poison Elder. As the blade descended, dark energy writhed beneath the ground. Swoosh! The blood-red slash landed, leaving a massive pit several dozen feet deep in the ground, with remnants of the fearsome red Dou Qi lingering in the air. Cough, cough, cough. Poison Elder coughed violently. Though he had dodged the strike, he found it strange. Despite the immense force, the attack had been surprisingly slow, and he should have easily avoided it. Yet, as Sun Dalong's blade fell, a sticky, binding force had seemingly slowed his movements. Again, Sun Dalong roared, raising the blood-red blade once more, his figure swiftly closing in on Poison Elder for another strike. "Damn it!" Poison Elder cursed. Ever since Sun Dalong's blade turned red, he felt as though his movements were being read, no matter where he went. That old Poison Elder has really lost it. Lu Di, hidden among the rocks, chuckled. His sharp eyes had already discerned the cause. It wasn't just Sun Dalong's blade. It was the dark energy lurking beneath the ground, concealed by the night. Two mid-8-star Dou battling it out. "I wonder who will emerge victorious," Mu Feng murmured, his gaze fixed on the fierce duel below. "With two mid-8-star Dou, it won't be easy to settle this quickly, and it looks like neither is giving their all just yet." Little E, sharp-eyed, chimed in. "Look, Poison Elder seems to be at a disadvantage." Mu Ying's delicate lips moved as she observed. Indeed, Poison Elder was being pushed into a defensive position by Sun Dalong. Poison Elder has been outmaneuvered. If you look closely, you'll notice some dark energy on the ground where they're fighting. Those traces came from the Blood Blade's earlier strikes. Poison Elder hasn't realized it yet, hidden as it is by the darkness. Lu Di explained. "Sun Dalong's blade is no ordinary weapon," Lu Di remarked. "Looks like Poison Elder is going to lose." Mu Ying whispered as she watched the Poison Elder's gradual retreat. A mid-8-star Dou doesn't fall so easily. Poison Elder has been hesitant because we're near the outskirts of Xinling City, and he didn't want to fight the Sun Clan head-on. But now that he's cornered, he's bound to retaliate, Little E said with a sly smile. "Really?" Mu Ying replied, shifting her gaze back to the fight. None of them had noticed Xiao Yan's quiet departure. "Hmph! Blood Blade Wielder, don't push me too far." Poison Elder, driven back by Sun Dalong's relentless attacks, finally spoke, his voice cold. "Ha ha ha. The 10,000 Poison sect is nothing special." Sun Dalong roared with laughter, raising his blood-red blade high and attacking once more with overwhelming force. "I didn't want to fight you, given how close we are to Xinling City. But now, it's time you see the power of the 10,000 Poison sect." Poison Elder's lips twisted into a sinister grin. His body, hidden beneath a black cloak, began to writhe as though something was about to emerge. "Quit your tricks." Sun Dalong snorted, but remained cautious. Despite his bravado, he didn't underestimate the 10,000 Poison sect. Plague Source Insect. "Go!" Poison Elder shouted as his body convulsed violently. A swarm of pitch-black insects burst forth from within him. Using your own body as a vessel to nurture the Plague Source Insect, this Poison Elder is truly mad. Lu Di exclaimed in shock. Though it wasn't uncommon for poison masters to cultivate poisonous creatures within themselves, most raised symbiotic ones. To use a body as recklessly as Poison Elder was unheard of. After all, the Plague Source Insect fed on Dou Qi and the souls of humans. If you put that inside your body, one misstep and the Plague Source Insects will devour you entirely, thought Poison Elder. He truly was a master of dangerous techniques, bold and unafraid. What is that thing?" Sun Dalong muttered as he watched a massive swarm of pitch-black insects appear in front of Poison Elder. His expression shifted immediately. His powerful senses had detected a wave of death emanating from the creatures. The insects were jet black, each about the size of a fingertip. Their eerie green eyes glowed ominously, and there were thousands of them swarming together. Go, my children. His blood, his Dou Qi, even his soul. It's all yours. Poison Elder's face twisted into a greedy grin as his Dou Qi surged and poured into the plague source insects. As the powerful Dou Qi infused them, the insects suddenly radiated an intense poison. Even from a distance, Lu Di could sense their terrifying presence, knowing how difficult they would be to deal with if he were in the same situation. Realizing the danger, Sun Dalong's expression grew serious. He couldn't afford to be careless. His aura flared up, and red Dou Qi enveloped his entire body. Gripping his blood-red blade tightly with both hands, a powerful battle intent surged from him. Sky-cleaving strike. Sun Dalong roared, and a massive, 100-foot blade of light erupted from his sword, slashing straight toward the swarm of plague source insects in an attempt to annihilate them. Swoosh. Poison Elder let out a maniacal laugh. Finding just one plague source insect was an arduous task, let alone cultivating such a massive swarm. The cost of creating these insects was known only to Poison Elder himself. However, what Sun Dalong didn't know was that the plague source insects weren't afraid of Dou Qi. Quite the opposite, they thrived on it. The plague source insects fed on both Dou Qi and soul energy, so when Poison Elder saw Sun Dalong unleash such a powerful Dou Qi attack, he laughed even harder. Swoosh, swoosh. The swarm of black insects surged towards Sun Dalong, a massive dark cloud in motion. Meanwhile, Sun Dalong's red Dou Qi formed a barrier around him, and the 100-foot slash from his blood-red blade collided directly with the insect swarm. Boom, boom, boom. The collision produced a terrifying shockwave, and an invisible pulse of energy radiated out from the center of the battlefield. The clash lasted only for a breath before the overwhelming blade of light vanished without a trace. The only thing left was the dark, overwhelming swarm of plague source insects. How is that possible? Sun Dalong gasped, his eyes widening in fear. How had Poison Elder's insects survived his attack? His attack had been infused with corrosive, fire-based Dou Qi. Realizing that something was wrong, Sun Dalong didn't hesitate any longer. Though he was unwilling to give up, he knew the mission had failed. The Cauldron Triflower pupil and the girl from the poison sect were beyond his reach. His eyes turned cold as he vanished in a streak of red smoke, leaving only a faint trail behind. I didn't expect the Sun Clan to be so cowardly, Poison Elder sneered, though the expression on his face betrayed his pain. The plague source insects must devour Dou Qi or soul energy once released, Poison Elder. I wonder how you'll deal with this, the barefoot woman, still trapped in the yellow beam of light, remarked with a smile. Swoosh, swoosh. The enormous swarm of insects, having lost their target, turned their gaze toward the barefoot woman. Swoosh. They flew toward her, eager to devour her. However, they quickly realized that the yellow beam was far too powerful for them to break through in a short time. Frustrated, the swarm changed direction and locked onto Poison Elder. Poison Elder coughed violently and, upon noticing the swarm's gaze, felt a chill run down his spine. Damn it! Before he could say anything, the massive swarm surged into his body. As the swarm entered him, Poison Elder's aura grew incredibly weak. Serves you right, the barefoot woman teased with a smirk. Cough, cough. Damn that bastard. He ran away in the end. Poison Elder collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. His forehead was drenched in sweat from the strain of taking the swarm back into his body. There was no way he could catch up to Sun Dalong now. They were, after all, on the outskirts of Xianling City, and the swarm of plague source insects left him no room to maneuver. Moreover, the insects had devoured nearly 90% of his Dou Qi when they returned to his body. Now, with only a tenth of his Dou Qi left, Poison Elder was so weak that even a 3-star Dou could kill him easily. If Sun Dalong had hesitated a bit longer, my plague source insects would have devoured him. My strength as a mid-8-star Dou would have improved. What a pity, Poison Elder thought, resting as he lamented his lost opportunity. Heh, little girl. Why don't you hand over that item now? Poison Elder, though weak, tried to mask his condition and spoke with a calm tone, unwilling to let the barefoot woman realize his true state. Hee, Poison Elder. Are you still thinking about my treasure when you can barely protect yourself? The barefoot woman laughed mockingly and stuck out her tongue at him. You. Poison Elder's aura fluctuated with anger. We both cultivate poison Dou Qi. Do you really think I don't know your current condition? Once the plague source insects are released, they must consume either Dou Qi or soul energy. If there were any more of them, they would have devoured you whole. If I were you, I'd be running off to a quiet place to recover right now, the barefoot woman said calmly. Cough, cough. Shut up. Let's not beat around the bush. The Dou Qi binding left by Sun Dalong is no joke. I don't have the strength to break it now, but with some time, I'll recover. There's still plenty of time, Poison Elder said. Is that so? The barefoot woman remained calm, showing no signs of panic. Dou ya, come down and take the item from this girl. We need to leave immediately. Poison Elder adjusted his black cloak, which concealed the squirming plague source insects underneath, and called out to the sky. Damn it! So you still had a backup plan. The barefoot woman was slightly surprised, and a green, poisonous Dou Qi began to rise from her body. Dou ya? Poison Elder raised his voice, calling again toward the treetops, but there was no response. Sorry, are you looking for him? A soft voice echoed, and a figure clad in a black cloak appeared. In his left hand, he cradled the unconscious girl with the cauldron triflower pupil, while in his right hand, he casually held another figure. Upon closer inspection, the person in his right hand was none other than Dou ya. You bastard! What have you done? Poison Elder's eyes twitched violently. He couldn't gauge the strength of this cloaked figure, but the fact that he had subdued Dou ya so easily suggested he was at least a 9-star Dou. Are you not afraid of offending the 10,000 poison sect? Poison Elder, despite the situation, remained composed, his voice steady. The black-cloaked figure was none other than Xiao Yan. Using his soul power, Xiao Yan had taken advantage of the battle between Poison Elder and Sun Dalong to sneak up on Dou ya and strike him down with a single blow using the Netherworld Heavenly Wrath technique. Although Dou ya was a genuine 6-star Dou, Xiao Yan, though only a 4-star Dou, had used his powerful soul energy to catch Dou ya off guard. Heh, I took a liking to the cauldron triflower pupil, so I decided to take it, Xiao Yan said casually, as if discussing something trivial. Strange. I can sense a terrifying wave of soul energy from him. Could he have noticed me? The barefoot woman, still trapped in the yellow light, murmured to herself, deep in thought. That's Dou ya, the son of our sect. If anything happens to him, you'll pay dearly. Poison Elder's eyes grew cold. He knew he couldn't afford to fight this mysterious figure. Are you threatening me? Xiao Yan snorted. No, that's not what I meant. The girl in your arms is part serpent folk. If you take her, her venom could harm you. Why not release both of them, and I'll make sure you're compensated, Poison Elder said, his eyes gleaming with malice as he stared at Xiao Yan. All right. Xiao Yan responded nonchalantly. As soon as Xiao Yan finished speaking, he flung Dou ya toward Poison Elder. Dou ya's body hit the ground hard. Take him and leave. I have no desire to kill anyone, Xiao Yan said calmly. Poison Elder was surprised that the mysterious figure in black had let Dou ya go. He wasn't foolish enough to believe it was because of the 10,000 poison sect's reputation. Without hesitation, Poison Elder darted toward Dou ya, extending his hand to pick him up and flee. Weighing his options, life or treasure, it was clear that preserving his life was more important. After all, his strength was now reduced to only a tenth of what it once was, and the mysterious man's power was unfathomable. Thank you, sir, Poison Elder said, offering his thanks to Xiao Yan. Though he didn't know why, he felt as if this black-cloaked figure had some connection to the 10,000 Poisons sect, which might explain why they were spared. Otherwise, with Xiao Yan's strength, both he and Dou ya would have perished here today. No need to thank me. Xiao Yan smiled faintly as he watched Poison Elder approach Dou ya. Hidden beneath that smile, however, was a menacing surge of fiery energy. Farewell. Poison Elder hurried to Dou Ya's side, cautiously observing Xiao Yan as he checked on Dou Ya's condition. At least he's just unconscious, Poison Elder muttered after confirming Dou Ya's state. He immediately hoisted Dou Ya over his shoulder and gathered what little Dou Qi he had left, preparing to flee. Where are you rushing off to? Xiao Yan's cold voice echoed. As he spoke, he made a swift, decisive gesture, and a powerful force erupted from his hand. Netherworld Palm. With a deafening sound, the strike hit Poison Elder just as he was checking Dou Ya's condition. Cough, cough, cough. Poison Elder staggered, clutching Dou Ya with one arm, while covering his mouth with the other. Dark, poisonous blood began to trickle from his lips. The blow had caught him completely off guard while he was distracted by Dou Ya's condition. Despite trying to remain vigilant, he had still fallen prey to the black-cloaked man's assault. Before he could fully grasp what had happened, Poison Elder spat out a mouthful of blood. Cough, cough. Such vicious methods, sir. Poison Elder coughed violently, glaring at Xiao Yan with murderous intent. Even though he was a formidable mid-8-star Dou, his Dou Qi was now severely depleted, and yet, this black-cloaked figure had still managed to land a blow. Xiao Yan, a bit surprised, realized that even in his weakened state, Poison Elder's mid-8-star Dou strength was not to be underestimated. Despite having used his full power for the Netherworld Palm, which should have been enough to defeat someone in Poison Elder's condition, it wasn't enough to kill him outright. It only further proved the resilience of a cultivator at Poison Elder's level. With no further hesitation, Xiao Yan's body flickered mysteriously. Now that enmity had formed between them, there was no reason to let Poison Elder or Dou Ya escape. Otherwise, as the saying goes, weeds grow again when the spring breeze blows. After all, these two were from the 10,000 Poisons sect, a faction from the Wildlands, and Dou Ya's status within the sect was likely high. Leaving them alive could lead to future trouble. Damn it! Who are you really? Poison Elder gritted his teeth through the intense pain racking his body. The searing heat from Xiao Yan's Dou Qi palm strike burned like fire, making his poison-infused body writhe in agony. First layer of the 7-layered Skybreaker ruler. Xiao Yan knew that despite Poison Elder's current weakened state, he was still a formidable foe. Underestimating him would be a grave mistake. Without hesitation, Xiao Yan drew the ancient ruler of heavenly flames from his back. As the overwhelming fiery Dou Qi, containing over 23 different flames, surged forth, the once cold forest grew scorching hot. Flame Dou Qi? Poison Elder's pupils shrank in horror. Poison Elder's poison Dou Qi, though powerful, had always been vulnerable to fire. Seeing Xiao Yan's terrifying flame-based Dou Qi, Poison Elder's previously calm heart was now in turmoil. How could anyone possess such a terrifying mastery of flames? If I get hit by that, I'll be lucky to survive with my skin intact. I can't hesitate anymore. Poison Elder gritted his teeth, pain flashing through his eyes as he made a desperate decision. Boom, boom, boom. The ancient ruler of heavenly flames in Xiao Yan's hand erupted with destructive energy as he swung it toward Poison Elder. Swoosh! The 100-foot flame tore through the air like a roaring blade, aiming to cleave Poison Elder and Dou Ya in two. Hmph! Poison Elder snorted coldly, his voice filled with malice. The 10,000 Poisons sect will remember this debt. At the last moment, his body squirmed under his cloak, and the plague source insects surged forth once again. These plague source insects may be terrifying, but with Poison Elder's Dou Qi nearly depleted, he shouldn't be able to control them, Xiao Yan muttered to himself. His enormous flame strike had already weakened his own Dou Qi, having consumed a significant portion of it. Go! Poison Elder roared, sending the swarm of plague source insects directly into Xiao Yan's flaming slash, as if they were willing to sacrifice themselves to stop him. This Poison Elder is really willing to give it all, Lu Di murmured from behind a rock as he watched the suicidal charge of the plague source insects. That is Xiao Yan? Mu Yingying's lips moved slightly, her disbelief evident. Xiao Yan had quietly approached Dou Ya and, despite being only a 4-star Dou, had managed to capture him. He was now trying to take out both Poison Elder and Dou Ya in one fell swoop. Let's go. We can't fall behind, Little Li said. Noticing Mu Yingying's shock, he began moving toward Xiao Yan, silently followed by the others. All doubts about Elder Zhu's decision to let Xiao Yan lead this mission seemed to vanish without a trace. Boom, boom, boom. In the sky, flames clashed violently with the swarm of plague source insects. Those who had fled, like Sun Dalong, missed what happened next. The fiery Dou Qi burned the plague source insects to ash, and the remaining flames surged toward Poison Elder. Such terrifying flames. If it had been someone like Sun Dalong using regular fire-based Dou Qi, the plague source insects could have overwhelmed them. But this cloaked man's flames are different. Poison Elder exclaimed, sensing the deep fear that the plague source insects felt toward Xiao Yan's fire. You brat, you ruined my plans. The 10,000 poison sect will make sure you pay for this. Poison Elder growled, casting a vicious glance at Xiao Yan before fleeing with the unconscious Dou Ya. Damn it! These plague source insects are truly terrifying. Xiao Yan, holding the unconscious girl with the cauldron triflower pupil, didn't give chase. Instead, flames surged from his body again, burning the remaining plague source insects to ash as they covered Poison Elder's retreat. Even after the insects were burned, Xiao Yan noticed that they still clung to his flame Dou Qi, devouring it bit by bit. If Poison Elder had been at full strength, Xiao Yan might not have been able to fend off the swarm. Are you all right? Little Li reached out to steady Xiao Yan as he landed. I'm fine. It's just that a mid-8-star Dou is truly fearsome. Even with his Dou Qi depleted, he wasn't easy to kill, Xiao Yan said with a wry smile. Mu Yingying, looking at Xiao Yan with concern, seemed to hesitate to say something. Mu Feng, meanwhile, was studying the barefoot woman, deep in thought. Is that the cauldron triflower pupil? Lu Di exclaimed as he moved closer, his eyes fixed on the unconscious girl in Xiao Yan's arms. His eyes gleamed with an unmistakable desire. This man is truly strong. The barefoot woman, still trapped, thought to herself. Seeing how Xiao Yan had forced back 2 mid-8-star Dou, nearly killing them both, made her reevaluate him completely.